And we will roll on here at 2CW runs this town in Binghamton. And listen to the reception for Eddie Edwards, the challenger here at 2CW's, runs this town, as he gets set to challenge Jay Freddie for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. By all rights, Eddie Edwards has a very legitimate claim to the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. He had Slick Wagner Brown beat back at 2CW's Funk U in Syracuse and the 2CW Arena. Slick, though, getting himself disqualified to retain the championship. At one point, Eddie had Slick locked in the single leg Boston Crab in the middle of the ring. It looked like Eddie was going to win the championship, but Slick, again, getting himself disqualified. That said, back at the big event in Watertown, Jay Freddie defeating Slick Wagner Brown to win the 2CW championship. And now Jay Freddie will meet Eddie Edwards in his first title defense. And now the 2CW Heavyweight Champion, Jay Freddie, making his entrance. Looking very focused indeed. Much different game plan for the young man out of Watertown, New York tonight, as he is now the hunter, or the hunted rather than the hunter. Jay Freddie's first championship. And what a moment it was in Watertown when Slick Wagner Brown tapped out to make Freddie the champion. That set a completely different mindset now for Jay Freddie as the champion rather than the challenger, which he was so many times. Whether it be against Jason Axe, or then of course last time out SWB. And let's send it down to the ring to Bombshell for the introductions here of this championship match.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall with 1 hour time limits. And it is for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. Introducing first, the challenger from Boston, Massachusetts, weighing 211 pounds, Die Hard Eddie Edwards! And his opponent, from Watertown, New York, weighing 187 pounds, he is the reigning and defending 2CW Heavyweight Champion, Jay Freddie!
Well, the introductions are now complete, and we are set here for what should be an outstanding match for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. Only the second time these two have met, the first time coming back at 2CW Sabotaged in Oswego, New York at the Oswego Armory nearly 2 full years ago. Jay Freddie won that match, and he's probably one of the very few men on this planet that can say they have defeated both Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards. Show of sportsmanship. And again, this one has the potential to be one tremendous match, a main event anywhere in the country. And we've got it here tonight for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. Again, Jay Freddie, such a different mindset now as the champion. Eddie Edwards has been there, done that in terms of winning championships, a man that's wrestled all over the globe and formerly won half of the American Wolves. Though he and Davey Richards, for the most part, have gone their separate ways in terms of singles action lately. And Eddie has powered Freddie into the corner. Eddie Edwards, a bit of a size advantage on Jay Freddie. But Freddie also here, being down in Binghamton, he doesn't have that ultimate home field advantage like he did back in Watertown. He had family and friends there. Down here in Binghamton, it's a different story. The fans very much like both men inside the ring. Collar and elbow tie-up. Freddie was looking for the waist lock. Eddie instead goes to the arm wringer. Forward roll by Jay Freddie. Modified Northern Lights suplex. Eddie Edwards with the head scissor. Jay Freddie kicks out. Mexican standoff. Good chain wrestling to start. Of course, Eddie Edwards trained by the late Walter Killer Kowalski out of Boston, Massachusetts. As very many a time in 2CW been the bridesmaid and not the bride, and falling short on a few occasions to try and win the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. Though he has had his chances. Drop kick to the foot by Eddie Edwards. Takedown on Jay Freddie, riding him. Trying to lock out a front face lock here. Freddie reverses out it into a hammer lock. Trying to put his weight on Eddie Edwards. Quickly, Eddie gets up to a vertical base here. Reaching back, Freddie's got that hammer lock really wrenched in. Reversal by diehard Eddie Edwards. Good wrestling here to start off, and it's nice to see some actual wrestling here between these two in a championship match. Snapmare by Jay Freddie. Eddie Edwards ends up at the corner. And another standoff. What do you take out of the match back at Sabotaged? Well, I don't think a lot. Again, it was such a different time for these two. Freddie still really went behind the ears, and he has really grown up in front of our eyes in 2CW. Over the course of basically the last year, we've seen him in the ring with Davey Richards, Brian Danielson, now, of course, Eddie Edwards. Finally getting the best of Jason Axe, winning the penultimate Stairway to Hell match at Funk U. Shoulder block takedown. Freddie looking up at the lights. Leapfrog. Freddie runs right into a chop. And that echoed off the walls and the fans here in Binghamton. This could be part of the strategy for the champion. He's like an Energizer bunny. He takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Head scissors take over from Freddie. Beautiful arm drag takedown and a standing drop kick. And Freddie with a chop to Eddie Edwards, not as loud, but it had just as much effect, and now a European uppercut. In comes Eddie, up and over he goes, lands on the apron, clothesline misses. Springboard, Freddie missed the springboard. And Eddie went to the well, or Freddie went to the well rather. And Eddie Edwards is going to make him pay, driving him down to the mat with an elbow. The champion tried to really dig down there, look for the big move, and instead it backfired on him. And what a knife-edge chop from Eddie Edwards. That even made Jack Trades wince down around the entrance area. But right now, Jay Freddie, the champion, not the challenger in this situation, his very first title defense. And Eddie Edwards has him caught here. Eddie is setting him up with the ring apron. What in the world does diehard Eddie Edwards have in mind here? Oh my goodness gracious, they're battling on the apron. Suplex Eddie, floats over the top rope, and Freddie with a drop kick. Eddie down to the floor. Freddie looking for the suicide dive, and Eddie Edwards had it scouted. Well, it's one thing now that Jay Freddie has been around for a while. You can kind of scout him, watch him on video. And Eddie Edwards had that dive scouted, and he knew it was coming, and he laid the kick right into the head of the champion. And the match for the moment is spilled to the floor, and a running boot from Eddie Edwards. That said, the challenger has to be sure to pace himself and not punch himself out. Because again, Freddie can take a beating. We've seen him do just that. Specifically against Davey Edwards and the American Dragon, Brian Danielson. And again, Eddie, that running boot to Jay Freddie. And Eddie is fired up right now, down on the floor, high-fiving the fans here in Binghamton, and 2CW runs this town. This is for the heavyweight championship of 2CW, Eddie Edwards and Jay Freddie. Scooping a slam on the floor. Dear Lord. A gigantic knife-edge chop from Eddie Edwards. New York State Athletic Commission mandates those blue mats down on the floor. They're not exactly soft. Feels almost like falling on concrete. And Eddie Edwards right now jumps into the ring, a cover and a hook of the leg. Jonathan Ash late getting in. Had Jonathan Ash gotten in the ring a little bit quicker, we might have a new champion. And right back out to the floor goes Jay Freddie. Looks like we've got some discretion being used here in this match by Jonathan Ash. Kind of letting these two get after it. Again, Freddie into the guardrail, and Jay Freddie's got that prosthesis. Oh my God. Freddie's still got that prosthesis. And he clotheslines Eddie Edwards with it. That's somebody's leg. That is literally somebody's leg here. I've seen it all. And after the show, somebody's going to screw that leg back in and go home. And finally, we'll get back into the ring. Freddie with a cover and a hook of the leg, only one. Well, that fan's certainly going to have a story to tell, to say the least. And now Jay Freddie will make Eddie Edwards ride his weight in the middle of the ring with that headlock. And Jay Freddie just trying to wear down the challenger here. What a first title defense. 2CW front office doing Jay Freddie no favors. That said, Eddie Edwards very much the #1 contender. And a big back suplex in the middle of the ring. Jay Freddie spiking off the canvas. Kind of a whiplash effect right there as the back of his head crashed in and then shot right back off the ring. Looks like we might have one more back suplex. No, Freddie floats out of it. Super kick catches Eddie Edwards coming in. Flying head scissors takeover. Jay Freddie well documented his work with Loca Vita, and that's right out of the Loca Vita playbook. Both men now getting worn down here on this sweltering summer night in Binghamton. The champion coming in, Eddie Edwards saw it coming. Big knee lift to the stomach. Shining Wizard in the middle of the ring, cover. And Freddie out at 2 after the Shining Wizard. The heat has to be taking a toll on both men here in the middle of the ring. There's not really a cool spot in this barn right now. That said, what will these two men do to one another to take home that 2CW championship belt at the end of the night? And now Eddie Edwards, the camel clutch in the middle of the ring, nowhere for the champion to go. And Eddie's got those arms hooked as well, so Freddie can't try to commando his way out of the ring ropes either. Jay Freddie so happy after defeating Slick Wagner Brown. Saw him walking around the fairgrounds after the show, the big event. Just a permanent smile on his face, taking pictures with everybody that wanted one with that championship belt. Such a wonderful young man to hold that title and represent 2CW, as would Eddie Edwards be a great champion. No doubting that. Either of these two men would be a great ambassador. And Eddie Edwards shunning off the kick right there and delivering the jumping snap kick to the ear hole of the champion. These two have gone back and forth. Right now on points, maybe Eddie Edwards slightly ahead, though. Jay Freddie did use that prosthesis. That's got to give him some style points if you're scoring at home. Eddie Edwards now stalking Jay Freddie. Big chop. Wait, here comes Freddie, and he catches Eddie Edwards in the corner. Eddie misses the charge. And both men down in the middle of the ring. The physical toll of this match taking its toll. Freddie trying to get maybe a second or third wind at this point. Again, he doesn't have kind of that, I guess, that fire in him to win the championship. He's got the title won. Stomach breaker on Eddie Edwards. Jay Freddie driving that knee right up into the gut of the challenger. Freddie coming in caught with a chop. Spinning schoolboy, Freddie rolls right through. Brainbuster, we might have a new champion. Freddie out at 2.5. Eddie Edwards so close again. We saw him at Funk U nearly defeat Slick Wagner Brown. Eddie Edwards has been so close on many occasions. Former 2CW Tag Team Champion with Davey Richards as the American Wolves. Meanwhile, the youngster Jay Freddie in his first title defense. And Freddie going for a ride. He's going to be set on the top turnbuckle. And just another brutal clubbing chop from Eddie. This could be the setup here for the backpack stunner. Wait a minute, Eddie Edwards going to go onto the ring apron. Oh no, what is this? Another big paint brushing chop in Freddie's chest is absolutely, oh no. Wait just a minute. Eddie Edwards has Jay Freddie. He's calling for the backpack stunner. Freddie hanging on for dear life. Freddie with some cross faces. Now an elbow to the head. Kick to the head. DDT on the ring apron. Both men all the way to the floor. Both men are down. That looked absolutely scary as both men went flying off the top turnbuckle. And Jack Trades has gone over, as well as Jonathan Ash, to make sure that Jay Freddie and Eddie Edwards are okay. Again, Eddie was calling for the backpack stunner. Jay Freddie blocked it, went for the DDT on the apron. Partially got it, though. Freddie took the brunt of that as well, spiking off the canvas on the hard part of that ring apron. Well, both men at least okay. Jonathan Ash back into the ring to put the count on here. And again, both men took the brunt of that scary fall. And that's why it's called the high-risk maneuver. Sure, you might hurt your opponent, but you might hurt yourself even more. And again, the crowd all behind the challenger, Eddie Edwards. Edwards with a charge. Freddie throws him outside. Suicide dive from Jay Freddie. Freddie's dive earlier tonight was thwarted by a snap kick. That time he connects with a suicide dive at about 100 miles an hour. And again, both men down on the floor. Freddie launched himself like a heat-seeking missile through the ring ropes. And again, Jack Trage and Jonathan Ash out to check. Apparently both men can continue. Jonathan Ash back into the ring to put the count on here. What a match this has been for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. And the champion sends the challenger into the ring. The challenger reeling right now. Clothesline. Elbow. Another elbow. Forearm shiver from Freddie. Knee lift. Running clothesline takes down Eddie Edwards. Cover and a hook of the leg. Kick out from Eddie Edwards. There's a reason he's called Die Hard. Both these two men do not have the word quit in their bodies. Freddie looking maybe for a German suplex. Back elbow breaks that up. 3 elbows in a row. Falcon arrow from Jay Freddie. Double hook of the leg. Eddie Edwards kicks out the back door at 2.5. Good reversal by Eddie Edwards, but Jay Freddie was waiting, and he planted Eddie Edwards. Still, the physical toll of the match is taken on both men, including Jay Freddie. Very slow to get up he was after that suplex. Snap kick from Eddie Edwards there on the misdirection. Eddie going to the top. He's up in the rafters here. Missile drop kick in the middle of the ring. Eddie landed hard as well, and he is going to be slow to get up. Both men looking purely exhausted here. The challenger, Eddie Edwards, former 2CW Tag Team Champion, of the champion, Jay Freddie. Both men looking up at the ceiling fans here in Binghamton. Somehow Eddie Edwards with a nip up, but you can tell he is not 100% right now. That said, Eddie digging down deep into the gas tank. Look at those chops. Freddie just took about 10. Now he's fighting back with forearms. And it's broken down simply into a fist fight here. Forearms against chops, and now Freddie going to town. He ends it with a European uppercut. Freddie looking for the lariat in the corner. Eddie scouted, knew what was coming, and fires out with a chop. Again, both these men have scouted one another very well. Could we have a new champion tonight? Will it be a short reign for Jay Freddie? And that would be a plethora of chops from Eddie Edwards. Jay Freddie planted in the middle of the ring. And look at the chest of Jay Freddie. It is bright red right now, and he is really breathing hard. That said, what does Eddie Edwards have to do to get the victory here and become the new champion? And the chant is Eddie, Eddie here in Binghamton, New York. Fans sensing possibly here that we might have a new champion. Eddie has been so close. Leg trap. Jay Freddie floats over. Freddie with a forearm to the lower back. He got caught with an elbow as well, and both men go down. That was right in the lower back. That had to really hurt. Eddie fights his way back up. He's caught, though, with a boot from Jay Freddie. What in the world? Flipping crusher. German suplex to the bridge. 2.5, says Jonathan Ash. Springboard into the ace crusher or stunner, whatever you like to call it. German suplex not going to get it done for Jay Freddie, though. This has been a tremendous match. These two men have emptied out their arsenals. There's The big running clothesline to the corner from Jay Freddie. He's up top. Freddie going for it all, got caught midair by a drop kick from Eddie Edwards. What impact on the drop kick from the challenger. And again, both men are down. This is almost a war of attrition. How can these two men continue to keep going? At this point, their focus has to be on the championship. Running forearm. Snap kick from Eddie Edwards. Jay Freddie is not here right now. He looks like he's in Watertown by his gaze. Freddie blocking the backpack stunner. Double leg takedown. Freddie looking for the scorpion death block. Eddie kicks him off. That's how he won the championship, Jay Freddie. What a clothesline from Eddie Edwards. Jay Freddie looks like he's almost been in a car wreck. Cover, that might do it. 2.5 somehow. Jay Freddie kicks out and refuses to lose. What an absolutely vicious clothesline from diehard Eddie Edwards. And now dueling chance for both the champion and challenger here in Binghamton. How is Jay Freddie even standing after that clothesline? That said, the match has really worn down Eddie Edwards as well. And again, Eddie looking like he's going to set things up here for a backpack stunner. And he has beaten Freddie with those chops. Well, maybe not a backpack stunner. Eddie might be going for a superplex here. Freddie hanging on for dear life. We take these two right into your living room here on 2CW DVD. Vicious headbutts back and forth. Both men hanging on for dear life on that top turnbuckle. Freddie getting the better of the exchange now. Oh no, here comes Freddie. Trying for the leapfrog powerbomb. Eddie Edwards hanging on. Forearms right to the face. Kick to the head from Eddie Edwards. He doesn't know where Jay Freddie is. Super German suplex, but Eddie Edwards flips out of it. Powerbomb. 2.5. Oh my gosh, the fans counting along with Jonathan Ash. What a sequence of events right there, ending with a gigantic powerbomb from Jay Freddie. This is by far been an outstanding contest for the championship. The fans have gotten their money's worth here, this match alone. And you're watching it on 2CW DVD. 2CW runs this town in Binghamton. These two have just about done everything to one another. They've even used a prosthetic leg. And all for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. And we had a slugfest earlier, and now these two trading shots on their knees. They'll fight their way back up to their feet. This has a 1 hour time limit. I don't think it's going to go that long, though, considering the physicality being displayed right now. Eventually, someone's going to wear the other out. And where are these two getting it? Their wanton lust for the championship guiding them right now, and a super kick from Eddie Edwards. Backdrop driver, Freddie floated through it. Super kick, block. Clothesline from Jay Freddie. He shunned off the super kick. 2.5. Freddie shunned off the super kick. The clothesline not going to get it done, though. Freddie looking for the scorpion deathlock. This is the move that Freddie won the championship with. Can he turn him over? Yes, he does. Wait, Eddie Edwards rolls through it. Takedown, single leg crab. Single leg crab. Eddie drags Freddie into the middle of the ring. This might be it. Could we have a new champion? Eddie really wrenching back. He's got Freddie caught. Could we have a new champion? Jonathan Ash is checking in. Freddie fought so hard to win the championship. Freddie kicks Eddie Edwards off. Spin kick misses. Schoolboy. Eddie rolls through. Sunset flip. Freddie rolls through it. Now he locks on the Scorpion and turns him over. Jay Freddie locks on the Scorpion deathlock in the middle of the ring. Eddie saying no, he's not going to give. Jonathan Ash checking in, and Eddie Edwards taps out. Eddie Edwards taps out of the Scorpion. And what a finish to this match for the championship. Both men laid it all on the line and then some. And Jay Freddie retains the 2CW Heavyweight Championship, defeating Eddie Edwards, getting Eddie Edwards to tap out in the middle of the ring with a Scorpion deathlock. And now the fans with an ovation for both men. And the fans on their feet applauding both men. What a match. And a show of sportsmanship at the end. That's how it should be. And Eddie Edwards, well, he'll live to fight another day. There's no doubt about that. And he comes up just short in his bid for the 2CW Heavyweight Championship. And Jay Freddie, refusing to lose, gets Eddie Edwards to tap out, and he retains that gold belt. The 2CW Heavyweight Championship will stay around the waist of Jay Freddie. And what a battle we just witnessed. And Freddie can barely walk after just a physical, brutal battle for the 2CW Championship. And fans, you are watching 2CW Runs This Town on 2CW DVD.